Real estate agents, do you need leads? We're going to tell you all about the different kinds, the cost, everything today on Real Estate Cheddar.
But wait, you got to watch this intro.
Let's go.
Let's go. Come on.
Welcome to the It's Me, Larry B podcast with Larry B and Nelly. Let's go!
Ice cream's touching your straw. Let me introduce you to the sauce. Let me introduce you to the sauce.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, Larry B, the Real Estate Cheddar Podcast.
And Nelly G.
We're here today. We're going to talk about leads. Like, do you need leads? Where do you get them? Who's got them? Where should you spend your money? How much do they cost? What areas can I get? We're going to talk about all of them.
Yeah, there's some that I like. There's some that I could.
Man, we bought them all.
Do without.
I mean, we got our list there, and we bought them all over the years. We've spent so much money on leads over the years, and we're going to tell you what worked for us and what didn't. The different costs. An example, how to figure out if you're making money on your leads. That's the huge thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've got so many different kind of leads. You've got leads you can generate on social media, leads you can generate on Google, Realtor.com, Zillow, Homes.com. There's so many different lead generations out there, and I know you all get these calls. Some of you are doing leads, some of you are not buying leads.
We all get those text messages like, are you interested in, buying leads? We've got AI, this and that and that. And they just come at you left and right with leads. So we're going to try to help you figure out which ones are better, which ones are, profitable, and which ones are, you can generate free leads too.
You can generate free leads.
Mm-hmm.
Little more work, free leads. Every lead has a value, in my opinion. The more they cost, the less work they are to close, it seems like.
True.
And the higher closing ratio. That's not always true, but you will have a higher closing ratio, but it can get very expensive on a new agent. So we're going to start off with social media leads. This is something you can make for free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, every post you make has the potential to grab you a lead or 10.
Lead generate. You can make a form on your website or on a website and have them fill it out. You can make leads for free on social media. You can post that. You can do your home search. That will, a lot of your brokers or yourself, you have a website that lead generates. If you can get people to look at the listings on there, so if you can post the listings, you can generate free leads that way.
I like in-person leads. Like, you could do the Main Street thing set up. If they're having a festival, you can set up a booth and just stand out there and talk to people about real estate. That to me is my favorite because you're connecting directly to the person. You can tell if you want to work with them, if they want to work with you. When you have the wall of the camera or social media or the phone or text messaging, you can't really feel the connection you'll have with that person. So I think community outreach is probably my favorite way to
that is.
build leads.
Anytime you talk to people can be a lead. We go back to the hot list. You make sure that you have people on your hot list. That way, if you run into Peggy Sue at the grocery store and she says her son is going to buy a house soon, you can get right in your phone to your hot list, add Peggy Sue's son on there so you don't forget about him, because we've all done it. We get busy, and then 2 months later, we're like, oh, crap, Billy wanted to list a house, and I never called him. He was not important to me. You don't want to forget them people. So you have to have a way to organize your leads, and you have to have a way to keep track of them on the fly. That's why I always say your hot list in your phone is a great way to mark your hottest clients. Maybe you put that person on your hot list maybe 6 months down the road. So when you get home, you take him off the hot list, put him in your CRM as a prospect with the reminders. That might be something you do, but you get him on the hot list so you get him in the system and you don't forget. That's the biggest thing with lead generating. The leads are not bad. Your response is. If you are getting 0 off your leads, your response is, or how you are generating leads is not a good way.
Correct.
So if everything you advertise is about credit repair, and that's the system you have decided to work, you will be digging at the bottom of the leads.
Well, every client you get is going to have go through credit repair and
Yes.
build up their credit report and stuff. So that's super target marketing, and that's who you're going to.
I see a lot of agents doing that, and you know why? I figured out why they do that.
Why?
You know why?
Why?
Because you get a big number of leads. There's a whole lot of people out there that can't buy a house for a reason. They are deals, and it's a great system to work, and it can be very fulfilling. There's nothing better than a first-time buyer taking somebody that maybe had some credit issues and fixing their credit and getting them to buy a house. They are so appreciative, and it's such a great way and a great feeling. I'm not saying don't work that system. We want to help anybody that wants to buy a house. That's great, but we don't want that post every day. Maybe once a month, once a week, you post that post about if you have credit issues, maybe we can help you get through them and get you a house. So this is the difference. Let's think about this. If you do a Google pay-per-click ad for credit repair and you do a Google pay-per-click ad about luxury $1 million houses, which one you think you'll get more leads on?
Credit repair.
Oh, yeah, you're going to get a lot more leads. Which one you think you will get better leads, better qualified leads on?
Obviously.
Right? So every lead has a value. And whether you get that from Zillow can be very, very expensive, right? But they give you a lot of live transfers. So Zillow, I see agents do it. They do great at it. Not a fan for me. Zillow is never ROI. You have to think about this. If a lead is $80 a piece and it takes you $20 to sell a house, it costs you $1,600 in advertising to sell that house. Now, if you're in a big market where the average house is over $1 million, that's a great bargain. But the problem is Zillow leads in that market are probably $350 a piece. So you have to ROI on your leads, and that's one thing you got to keep track of. I paid Zillow this much money. I paid Realtor this much money, and this is the houses I sold to get. I don't count future down the road. I don't count referrals. Your ROI should be how much you paid that company to get one deal. And if you spent $4,000 and made $6,000, that's probably not a great ROI that you want to do. You should be under $600 or $800 a sale, even in higher markets. It could get a little higher than that. You could be, look, if your average commission is $20,000 and you're spending $5,000, that's 4 times your money. That's a good ROI.
Should be 20% of your marketing.
Yeah. So spending 3/4 of what it costs to get a lead that will buy a house could be the leads, but it could also be your response to the lead.
I would bet that it's probably the response to the lead.
It could be. It could be, absolutely. You have to think about one thing. What did that person have to do to get you on the phone? Okay. Did they click a button on Facebook that sent you their email address? Or did they fill out a form and request to see a house? That's going to make a lot of difference in your response rate and what your closing rate on these real estate deals. So Zillow, we talked about them, very, very expensive. Zillow can be really expensive, but works for a lot of people. We have agents in our office that close a ton of deals off Zillow. Realtor.com, step down. Better leads. To me, I would rather make my own introduction. Probably half the cost or better.
I think it's a better
Zillow.
platform.
It's a better platform. They're already expecting to use a realtor. I feel like Zillow has, with putting the foreclosure data and all that stuff on there, I feel like they have, look, if you miss 2 or 3 payments on your house might be on Zillow with upcoming foreclosure. That's
Less
not a
pin
joke.
days.
And you're 14 months at best before they foreclose this house. So it's bad information to me. That feeds out to the agent,
Negative.
and you're buying that lead. That's not a win. Okay. Realtor.com, everything is listed with a realtor. They're expecting a realtor. They're on the website. I feel like these are a little better leads, in my opinion. But Zillow may have a higher closing ratio.
They may.
The live transfer, the way they do things could be. Look, Zillow's got all the money to do the research, to figure out how to get these people to you the best way they can. Because if you close more deals, you're going to spend more money with them. And that's the system. Realtor.com has caught on to Zillow, and they're doing a lot of the same things. So you will see some of that. Then you've got Homes.com, which...
Kind of new to the block.
Yeah.
I've been using Homes.com for, well, it was HomeSnap first, so probably 10 years. And they just changed their model. So not just, but recently changed their model to they only put the listing agent, which is nice for the listing agent. But it's also, if you're in, your cycle is you're working with buyers right now, and you're paying Homes.com to be the listing agent.
Yeah, I haven't understood that model, and it seems like you did really well with your Google and things with HomeSnap. When it switched to Homes.com, I didn't see you getting that kind of splash like you used to get. I don't know that's the answer, but look.
I love their marketing. I love their commercials. They were in the football Super Bowl. They had a huge, multi-million-dollar advertisement during the Super Bowl and stuff. And it's funny, it's eye-catching, it's thoughtful and stuff. But I just don't know if their model is gonna take off.
Well, I have noticed here lately they are running a lot of the people that pay for Homes.com. They're running a lot of social media ads for their listings, and I've noticed that, and that's a way for them to lead generate. But what I don't understand is if it's not a property. So in other words, if the listing agent doesn't pay Homes.com, where does that lead go?
Good question.
Yeah, it's something I need to dig into more.
Yeah.
I haven't dug into it more because that would not be my first choice. If I was a newer agent or I relocated, I had to dig into a property.
And I think maybe with buyers, like Florida, you can't do dual agency. So if somebody's on Homes.com looking for a home and they are directly connected to the listing agent, which is good if you're the agent, but if you're in Florida, you can't represent both of them. So I don't know how it's all going to work. You can't be dual agent in Florida. So
yeah, and then the next one is lead generating on your own website, SEO, doing things like this. This can be very slow moving. It takes a long time to get SEO. It can be a lot of cost to get SEO, but the rewards down the road can be huge, right? So you spend SEO money for years.
When you say SEO, will you explain that
Well,
to some people?
search engine optimization has changed over the years, okay? Google and Yahoo, they have changed things a lot different. Google has definitely come out on top as the big player, and they have changed a lot of things, how search engine optimization works. A lot of it now a person can do by themselves. So do you need a website or can you use your broker's website? Well, you could probably use your page on the broker's website. That would be plenty fine. You could take your page at a broker's website to keep your costs down. You could forward a domain to there, run ads. These are ways, if your website lead generates, this can be a way for your money to pay off down the road. So in other words, if you spend a lot of time, a lot of money, you get the reviews, you have maybe a social media manager that's running your Google page that can help you get up in the SEO and the searches, it can really be a big winner down the road of out-of-state buyers and putting you on top of the list when somebody searches for an agent in your area. This is a long play. This is not something that's going to happen quick, but it can be a really win. We did this when we first opened, and it has paid off year after year after year. We get a ton of leads and calls every month because we are high up in the Google ranks. That's the goal. That is a slow play. Speeding up the process is pay-per-click leads. And these, from the search engines, can be a mid-price. So we'll talk about price. Zillow is usually always the highest. Realtor.com. I said Homes wouldn't be my first pick, but they are very inexpensive compared to the other two.
Yeah.
And don't forget, a lender can pay for half your advertising, okay? So you can split this by NAR rules. And then you've probably got Google pay-per-click and social media. Social media ads are, to me, have the least value. They're the hardest to convert. They did almost nothing to submit that lead to you, but click a button, and they are very hard to convert. But as a newer agent, can you do social media leads, have an AI responder, filtering them leads and turning them into deals? Absolutely. That's the best way to probably do it for somebody trying to do things on a budget. It's a lot more work. It's a lot more calls, and you're going to have a lot less closing ratio. But you're talking about could be hundreds of dollars for a Zillow lead, or you can make social media leads for about $1 a piece. So you're looking at your ROI, but you also have to sell enough houses, right? To pay the bills, you have to sell enough properties to pay the bills and make a living. And that has to be the most important thing. One, are you getting an ROI? And two, are you selling enough properties to make a living? And them are the two things you have to do. People don't understand that you can't say, oh, I'm going to not, you have to have a plan when the year starts, where your deals are going to come from.
It's a business. You have to run it like a business. You have to have your marketing money. You have to have your lead generation. You have to have your
Absolutely
utilities.
There's two kind of salespeople, and there's ones that make it happen, and there's ones that wait for it to happen. Right? I've told you before, the more people you talk to, even if they're dollar social media leads or free social media leads, they're going to convert eventually. One's going to convert. I've seen people sell $800,000 houses on a $1 lead. It happens, and your ROI can be really good. But as you get busier, you're going to figure out you probably don't have the time to make that 200 or 300 calls a week that you need to convert one or two of them cheap leads. So you're going to want to step up. So your next step up would be pay-per-click. Your Google pay-per-click ads are hard to run, but if you spend a day or two and learn and take the Google courses and learn the pay-per-click, you can run it yourself, and you can make leads for $10 to $20 a piece and generate really good leads. Now, the difference in the two is one, click the button to submit a lead, maybe a house you posted a house you listed, and they clicked on it, and it said, would you like to submit your info? And you said yes, right? The other one, the Google pay-per-click, they had to go to your website, they had to look at the house, they had to request more information, they had to request a showing, they actually had to show interest in that property. So your closing ratio on them leads are going to be a lot better. Google pay-per-click and homes, remember, Homes.com, Zillow, Realtor.com, they're all doing exactly just that. They're running Google pay-per-click ads to get more people to their website to make more leads that they can sell you. So why wouldn't you do it yourself? Maybe you don't have the time, the knowledge. It's not the way to start. If I was a new agent, I would get with a lender that I really trusted that can get deals done. I would get Realtor.com leads. That would be my choice. And we've run a lot of different stuff. If you can afford them, Zillow would be a good thing. Usually, Realtor.com leads would be your best response, and your response is everything. I'm going to leave you with one little tip, and we leave here. Think about this. What if every lead you got, you recorded a quick video, and you took your phone, and you said, hey, Sarah, I'm Larry. I'm a real estate agent. You asked for some information. If there's anything I can do, this is my direct number. I'd love to chat whenever you have time. 10 seconds, made a video, shoot it to them. If you responded to all your leads like that, your conversion ratio would go way up. Your response to the leads are everything. And I'm going to give you one more tip. and most of the coaches tell you it's wrong. Quit worrying about the pre-approval. If you pay for Zillow or Realtor.com leads and they call you or they send you a lead wanting to see the property, you should have one question. When would you like to see the house? If you don't have 1 hour to show somebody a house and figure out if they're going to get on your path, agents look at me when I coach them and I say things like, you want to meet them one time and decide if you want to do business with them or not. Will they get on your path? Will they get pre-approved? Are they ready to list their house? Is this something you're ready to do? Trust me, you're going to close up. Your closing ratio will go way up if you shake hands with them people, make them like you, and then decide, is this a person that fits my systems? Will they do the things I need them to do to get to a closing? Will they price their house right? Will they make an offer that's respectable on the house they're trying to buy? Are they pre-approved? These are all things that you've got to figure out. And sometimes it's not a good match, and it's not a good customer for you to take.
Yeah.
And you got to part ways. But an hour and $10 worth of gas is worth your time to maybe get a client that you could make $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, $20,000 on this deal. So quit worrying about the pre-approval. Go show them the houses, and guys, happy prospecting. We bought a ton of these leads, and we showed you today. Don't forget our coaching. It's me, LarryB.com.
See y'all later.
Real Estate Cheddar.
It's me, Larry B. Media. Hooray!
That was really good. Did a good job.